Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Pocket Perspectives podcast. My name's Tanisha Gray. I'm your host, and today we are sat down with Arlyne from Roots to Fruits, which is a financial wellness company dedicated to helping individuals and businesses gain confidence in managing money. So, why would you say that financial independence is especially important for women, and why do you think it's such a crucial topic?
Yes, so financial independence, oh God, I think we can talk for 2 hours around
Yeah.
this, especially for women, because we know the statistics. Women are less confident in managing their money. Women don't invest as much as men do as well, and that's that confidence piece. Women
Mhm.
have less in their pensions by the time that they need to retire, which is something that really needs to be addressed as soon as possible. So
Mhm.
there's loads around like women at managing their finances and just having that security, knowing that if anything happens, whatever it is, I at least know that I've got this much and I can survive.
Yeah.
For me, I think thankfully my parents really put that in my head as soon as possible. They may be coming from Africa and moving here. It was just
Mhm.
always important for myself and my siblings to just always be financially secure. And
Yeah.
what that means then is having the knowledge, the tools, the resources to then do
Mhm.
that. And I think as women, we need to empower ourselves, but also we need to feel empowered by the systems, by government, by companies as well. Make sure that we've got everything that we need to be able
Yeah.
to thrive.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. And I kind of feel similar. I was raised with very much of kind of like without that gender difference. Like a lot of the women in my family were the breadwinners. So that's what kind of what I grew up with. And I was like, I don't need no man. Like that was kind of the mentality that I always had. And especially my nan, she was born in Liverpool, but she met my granddad who was from Nigeria. And then they went and lived over
Oh,
there for quite a few, like about 10 years, I think, and she set
mm,
up her own hairdressing shop over there and absolutely loved it.
businesswoman.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I've got so many good inspirations. So I think it definitely has trickled down. So I'm all for empowering women in finance,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's just always the thing that a lot of women say first is that I would do it if I knew how to. And it's just that knowledge and that confidence. And if you've got representation, like you've got your grandma that you saw that she went and she did this, therefore you feel like, oh, if she can do it, I'm pretty sure I could try as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely need all that representation and the voices that say, yes, you can.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I love it. And hopefully, if people don't have that, they can listen to this podcast and then they can
Yes.
get some kind of inspiration, hopefully. So what advice would you give to someone, a woman specifically, who is
Mm.
feeling a bit lost financially?
Yes, I would say if they feel a bit lost, it could be that they feel like they're not in control of their finances. So, most likely, they're always running out of money before they get paid, or they
Hmm.
could be in a role that means that. So, maybe they are a freelancer or someone that relies on invoices. Therefore, that really makes you feel like you're not in control. So,
Yeah.
I think the best thing to do is again sit down and understand, what are my expenses? How can I change the expenses for now?
Hmm. Hmm.
So it could be that for myself, I own my own flat. I can't, not pay the mortgage, so I can't change that.
Yeah.
However, what I can do is utilize the space in that in the flat. Therefore,
Hmm.
can I try and get a little bit extra income? Or other bills, can I switch and then save from other
Yeah.
bills? Can I change the car that I'm driving? Can I not drive sometimes so then I save from for petrol? So it's just understanding your expenses, because I think that's the thing the most. If you
Yeah.
feel like I'm always right, why is that? I think I'm spending too much. Where am I spending too much? Okay, this is where it is. And then you start to feel a little bit like, okay, so I probably need to change this. It might
Yeah.
also feel like another battle to then change it. But at least once you just broken that barrier of just, I have no idea what I'm doing, to,
Yeah.
okay, this is what it looks like, then you're on a good path. um yeah, so after that, if it still feels like I have no clue,
Mhm.
you've got the tools. So on IE Hub, there's benefit checkers where maybe you can check where how you can try and
Mhm.
utilize, the benefits that are available. Or now you can see your budget, and it's done on a platform where you don't have to sit down and physically, work out so much. It's all done there
Mhm.
and it's saved. You can just come back to it.
Yeah.
Then that makes it so much easier for you. And in turn, if you've got now, like, I need to speak to someone, there's so
Mhm.
many resources from
Yeah.
Roots to Fruits, and also other places that you can go to ask for that support and that advice, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes it can be the smallest things like TV subscriptions that you just don't need and that you've
Yeah.
subscribed to ages ago and you just completely forgot about, and it makes a difference. They add up, don't they? So I agree.
To be honest. So when was it? I think 3 months ago, I signed up to CapCut to just
Mhm.
make sure that a video that I was editing, it took out the noise cancellation, or like
Uh-huh.
just enhanced my voice. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right, let me sign up for 1 month, and then I'll cancel it as soon as I need to. I'll cancel it and then I don't have to pay. So then
Yeah.
I've been seeing £10.99. I had no idea what it is, and I haven't been using it. And then I thought, okay, this is why you need to check every single month
Yeah.
what's going on so I can cancel it. So yeah, it's so easy for everything to stack up, and there's
Mhm.
hidden things. I think it's food more than anything
Yeah.
that really starts to mount up. So yeah, and especially for women, there could be mothers, or that are listening to this, new mothers,
Mhm.
or people that have grown adults as well, and it can start to mount up. And a lot of women that have come to us as well have changed their situation, meaning that maybe they just got divorced. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's like, now I have to work with a new budget. Now I have to understand how much I'm spending with half the income. So yeah, it
Yeah.
could be really hard as a woman depending on your circumstances.
Yeah, and there's certain things like that are out of our control, like for example, sanitary products. Like we have to get them, and it's kind of like an
Yeah.
added expense that they're just going up and up in price, aren't they? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I'm so
tough.
happy there was 1 year where they cut the tax, which was like, thank you. But
Yeah.
somehow it's really started to go back up again. And we need them every month. You're so right. And it's like, how
Yeah.
are we meant to survive like this? But yeah, and I don't, there's no way of cutting that, is there? Unless
No.
if you use more sustainable products, then you try
Yeah.
to be inventive.
Definitely, yeah. There's just so many costs to being a woman, but
Yeah.
hopefully they can get some tips from this. So yeah, thank you very much for that. Um, Before we move on, is there any stories that you'd want to share of kind of maybe someone that Roots to Fruits has helped, that I'm sure our listeners would love to hear?
Absolutely. So we've got this a woman, actually, I'll share that on the
Hmm.
subject. And she came to us when she felt like everything was just so bleak, everything was just so dark. She had loads of debt because she just moved out from a place that she was renting out with her partner. At that time they broke up, and now she's in a new place, and she just felt overwhelmed by everything. You go from talking about finances with your partner to now it's all on you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she was finding that hard, and she was also finding managing those finances quite hard. And what we did was we helped her see, her circumstances at the moment. Like, she could actually easily get a promotion. She had delayed, kind of pushing for it with her manager. She delayed certain conversations for her own reasons, but then
Hmm.
she got that promotion, which is really fantastic. So that's more money coming in. And then
Hmm.
we looked at her expenses, and actually she was being really, really good. All she needed to do was make sure that she'd actually paid off her debt, and she was also saving up on the side for her
Yeah.
emergency fund. And all she had to do was just stop her Klarna and like
Oh,
just be a little
dangerous.
bit more sustainable. Yeah, because that was
Yeah.
like £250 per month. So yeah,
Mm.
so that's all she had to do. And within, I believe we worked together for 9 months, she had turned everything around, had her emergency savings, and also a little bit on the side for a holiday. And she paid off her debt at the same time and was really happy with her job situation. I think it was just so well rounded, and I saw a different person from how we
Yeah.
started off to at the end. Or and now I'm like just checking in on her, but no need for like intense work, sessions or anything. And yeah, she can continue to come to our workshops as well as she's working on her long-term plans. But yeah, so
Hmm.
that's one of the joys of seeing someone really change their life and feeling like I'm so much more confident now, and
Yeah.
she can face anything because her finances are secure.
Yeah, and it must trickle into other aspects of her life. Like if she's got this confidence, maybe her social life will improve and things like that. And it's like a domino effect, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it really does like affect your mental health if you're like, you know
Hmm.
what, I can't afford this, and I just feel so unhappy. Then it affects, your relationships with others, and yeah, so now, like it changes things, and I think we underestimate the link of financial wellness to your mental health. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, love that. That's amazing story. So, and this kind of is a really good follow on from that. How can women feel more confident negotiating salaries and advocating for their financial worth?
Mm,
Good question,
what a
isn't
great one.
it?
Yeah. Yes, I think I still even feel a little bit uh, affected by
Hmm.
having to negotiate your worth because, as we know, men just feel like, I'm not saying all men because we don't want to generalize here,
Of
but
course.
most men actually advocate for themselves and feel
Hmm.
like they deserve something, therefore they should get it. So they would demand it more.
Yeah.
Whereas women, we feel probably that we need to have achieved something. We need to prove that we can do it
Yeah.
before we can be compensated for it.
Hmm.
So already we're setting ourselves up, a foot, shorter than men do. So I think it's just starting off from understanding your skills and your experience and knowing what you can definitely bring to the table. If
Hmm.
you've convinced yourself that you are worth it, then it's really easy for you to walk into a room and say, right, this is what I know I can do. I can prove it through XYZ. And I know what that person has been doing in that role. I definitely can do it and I can definitely do it better.
Yeah.
Even worse, if you're already doing the job but you're not being compensated for it, you really have to back yourself.
Hmm.
Fortunately, in 2025 now, people can jump from role to role and get that pay rise so easily. So you
Yeah.
have to really advocate for yourself internally before having to jump the gun and
Yeah.
just show the stats. I know you're proving yourself again is what I'm saying, which is more than what men would have to do. But we have to start from somewhere,
Yeah.
and it comes from like that confidence from within, just that, okay, this is what I'm gonna go for.
Hmm.
So when you go and have that maybe performance review with your manager to negotiate your salary, have the facts. So you know you could get X if you were to jump to another company. Already you
Hmm.
know then this is the how much you guys need to start paying me.
Yeah.
Maybe also find out what the other person that was in that role or another person that's working beside you that's in that role, what they're getting. Just find that out, because then again that's a little bit more armor that you can bring to the table to say, well, I'm pretty sure this is what you should be paying me because I know this is what you're doing. So yeah,
Yeah.
um, just come in there prepared, because sometimes people say I need to be paid this, but then if their manager asks them like, okay, how are we going to achieve that? There's no budget, but you can then talk your way into, I know there isn't a budget, but this is the reason why
Yeah.
I need to be paid it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I'm a huge advocate for people speaking out about kind of their salary. I know it can be a bit of an uncomfortable topic sometimes, but if you don't know what the person who's doing the same job as you's on, then how are you going to do things like that, you know?
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I love it. Um, so yeah, that I think that's covered most things. Before we wrap up, I've got some fun questions for kind of like a personal one, if you don't mind, before we wrap
Please.
up.
Hmm.
So what would you say is the best piece of financial advice that you've ever received?
To buy property. And
Okay.
in my 20s, it felt ridiculous at the time that I could even think about that at that
Yeah.
time. I think I was 26 at that stage when I started to save up for everything, and the process
Hmm.
took a couple of years to actually then follow through. And it's in London as well. And
Wow.
the reason why it's the best advice is that it's meant that my expenses are much lower than if I was renting right
Yeah.
now in London, and I'm pretty, secure, pretty safe. My expenses are what they are. I know exactly how much I'm going to be paying the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that has meant that I can take the leap and be a full-time business owner
Yeah.
because I know how much I'm actually, spending compared to if I was paying rent. So that was the best push that I got. And
Yeah.
fortunately, I was in a position to make that happen for myself.
Amazing. Oh, I'm kind of a similar thing. So I'm 25 now, and we've just started fully. We've got a little pot for saving house, but we kind of have been avoiding it for a little while because we just got married. So now we're kind of like trying to be aggressive with it to hopefully get on that property ladder
Yes.
because it is so important, isn't it?
Yeah, good for you. And yeah, fingers crossed you can do it as soon as you can.
Thank you. It was amazing you could do it in London of all places. Like, congratulations to you.
I'm still
Crazy.
shocked.
No, it's an amazing achievement. So kind of on the other side of it, if you could ban one bad money habit, what would it be?
Hmm. People not utilizing 0%, credit cards and not moving their money, that debt to somewhere where they're not being charged an interest and
Mm-hmm.
they're being charged, 20 to 30% APR, which is absolutely crazy. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that, and that comes from like not checking, that comes from like, oh, I don't know what to do or I can't be bothered,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So I'll definitely ban that. If you can get those deals,
Mm-hmm.
please try to do it and move that money around so that you
Yeah.
can pay it off quicker.
Yeah, that and it'll build your credit score hopefully as well. 'Cause I
Yeah.
think that's a lot of people like don't have any credit and they go to buy a house and they get rejected and they're like, oh, should have got this credit card. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. What's your go-to budgeting or financial planning tool? Obviously, we both love IE Hub, but if there's there anything else that you tend to use yourself?
Oh, I love the digital tools. I love the apps, but sometimes you just have to write down your goals. So
Yeah.
I've got a Risk to Fruits financial planner that I love to just sit down and just write down what my goals are, my financial goals, and then I just write down, okay, what I love about my kind of the things that I ticked off that week as well. So yeah,
Hmm.
I've got the Risk to Frizz financial planner, which is the tool that I love to use when I'm not utilizing the digital tools.
Of course. Sometimes you've just got to keep it simple, haven't you? If it works best for you. So I completely agree with that. So thank you so much for joining. Is there anything else that you want to discuss whilst we're here?
No, I mean, thank you for having me on the platform. It's really important for people to talk about finances or to hear from experts or just generally just to hear from other people how do they do
Yeah.
things. So this is a great podcast for people to just learn like helpful hints and tips. I mean, from myself, just please keep an eye out on what we're doing. Again, we
Mhm.
mentioned the events and we also have a podcast if people want to check that out. So, yeah, really
Amazing.
great
Yeah.
to speak to you today.
No, it was absolutely amazing. One of my favorite episodes. I think I've learned a lot. I think I could chat all day, but unfortunately we have to cut it at some point. But yeah, like I said, I will link everything I can down below so people know exactly where to find you. And then I can't wait to see how you do with your goal. I'm absolutely sure you'll smash it, and you'll be able to help 10,000 people this year. So thank you very much for joining again, and for all of listeners, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you soon. Bye.